Greetings. I'm Pastor Stephen Rye, along with Pastor Erica Nielsen, serve Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Baxter, Minnesota. And this is today's 12:45 for the 10th of July, 2020. Our verses today come from the 13th chapter of 2 Corinthians. This finishes our walk through the book of 2 Corinthians. And I'm not going to read the passage for you, but I would encourage you to look at the 13th chapter in 2 Corinthians. And you'll see there that it's divided into a couple different sections. The first of which is an encouragement that Paul gives to the congregation to do some self-examination, some self-reflection on whether or how they are living in faith. And then the second section is the conclusion of the letter, which speaks very succinctly about wishing them peace and is just a final encouragement to the congregation as he closes this letter. I think as I read this section, one of the things that jumped out for me right away is that the first and the second section embody two things that we as Lutherans are used to doing on a very regular basis. The first of which is examining our conscience. It's part of the confession and forgiveness of sins that we do each time we gather together. There is a period of silence, and I try to, when I lead worship, try to leave enough time for us to seriously think about our lives and about how we are or are not walking the walk of faith with Christ, the walk that we are called to as Christians. And Paul is encouraging them to do that. I think in part that's because I know in my own life that when I do that kind of examination and I truly take a look at my own life, there comes from that a healing, a spiritual healing that comes out of honestly admitting where I have fallen short. And that leads to health and the restoration of relationships. As I'm saying that, I'm also mindful that one of the key steps in that whole 12-step process for those who are walking those steps are taking a fearless moral examination of oneself. And then the next step involves setting things right, moving toward right living. So that's one piece that we do all the time, is the confession and of our failings and an honest assessment of our walk with Jesus. Another thing that we do is encaptured in the end, which is the sharing of the peace. Once we have engaged in that self-examination, that naturally moves to our seeking peace and reconciliation with those around us. And that's how the letter, this tumultuous letter that Paul writes to the 2 Corinthians, finally ends. So, and as I say, that ends our walk through the book of 2 Corinthians. I think in the future, I am leading a Bible study on Wednesday nights with class, and I believe that I will set out readings for the congregation so that even if you're not a part of that class, you'll know where in the Bible we are, and you can join with us in our walk through this book of faith called the Bible. We are early in Genesis, I think, right now. So Also do want to just share a little bit about what's happening at Lord of Life. First of all, a number of you have seen or wondered about an invitation to a members group, members of Lord of Life Lutheran Church. I want to assure you that is a real thing. It's not a scam. It's my hope that this group can be a place where folks share a little bit more than we would want to share with the outside world, and can be a place where people connect. So if you've got a fishing picture of a great fish you caught this summer, you'd be encouraged to share that with the community of faith. And I intend to share things from the life of our congregation in that place as well. In fact, I'm thinking of maybe shifting these talks to that group so that it goes out to members of the congregation. Should also say that in this last week, I've become aware of some better data, I think, from the Minnesota Department of Health that will, I know, help me as a leader move forward in greater confidence as to where we are headed in opening up. I've been in several conversations about that this week. I think for the time being, while the weather's good, we will still remain outdoors, but I am looking for us to engage in a lot more outdoor worship services in the future while the data continues to look good. I do think we're not going to make any promises past probably a week or two at a time, but while things look good in Crow Wing County, I am committed to moving our congregation forward in ways that will help bring us physically together in, of course, still having masks on and with social distancing. So that's another thing that's going on. On the 19th, we'll be holding a reception at 10:30 for Pastor Erica on Zoom, so you may want to be a part of that as well. And I think that's it for now. I wish you well on a great weekend, and we will see you soon. God bless.